Sitting all alone, mouth full of gum in the driveway. My friends aren't.
I'm a very confident, very self-aware, very intuitive person. I always like to say that I'm kind of like a diamond in the rough. Like, I think I've grown into that type of like mindset that like every day is a runway for me. And not necessarily what I wear, but just how I carry myself. I stand up tall, like I have good posture, I walk in a straight line, and it's not necessarily because that's what I was conditioned to be, but that's just how I see myself. A millennial is someone who basically goes by their own rules. Like, they don't go with the status quo, and they're very, very independent and very, very rebellious. Has a change of mindset so quickly. Like, they could be focused on something for 2 minutes and then they see something else that sparks their attention, like especially career-wise. Like, I feel like us millennials, we are so open to expressing new ideas and seeing new roles and challenging ourselves, and one day we think something is for us and then the next day something else could be for us, and we have no problem with exploring that even if we're risking something. I feel like living in New York City, especially as a millennial, like it's very, very important to have a day job because New York City is not a cheap place. I've always had part-time jobs, like I've always worked in retail, I've always had like part-time jobs, so I never really took it that serious. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna call out, 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 I'm gonna call out. Because at the end of the day, I'm just like, I'm part-time, like I'm not on salary, you guys really don't care about me anyway, like I'm just extra help. But now I have a full-time job, so I'm like, okay, I can't just like call out, but I still try to keep in mind that I need to have a social life. Like I need to hang out with, I can't just work, especially when I'm doing something that's just my day job and it's not really that important to me anyway. It's just there because it looks good on my resume. The pay is good, the health insurance is good, the benefits are good, but it's still, I know in the back of my mind, I'm not gonna be here forever. I feel like it's very important to get your face out there. The more people see your face, the more people recognize you, the more they're gonna be inclined to come up and talk to you or introduce themselves to you or just be more interested in what you do. And it's a very like fickle and superficial industry as it is. So a lot of the times when you talk to people, they're not really listening most of the time, especially when there's liquor involved. I feel like with me, I present myself a certain way and I have a certain vibe that comes across to people that I kind of demand attention without being rude about it. I always kind of felt supported by my friends and admired by my friends. Like I've always felt like my friends kind of looked at me as like a beacon. My mom is like my biggest fan, my best friend. Like every time I post a picture on Facebook, because me and her are Facebook friends, she immediately like reposts it on her page. Like every picture that I post, I'm like, Mom, it's okay. Like your friends are gonna get super annoyed. She's like, I don't care. You're my son. I love you. You're beautiful. You're doing so well, and I'm so proud. I'm like, you're so sweet. You know, so sweet. My dad, like, he was supportive of me at first, but my dad is just a very ignorant and like simple-minded man. So he just can't. I always thought that my dad knew that I was gay, but like we never talked about it really. And I was like, okay, he knows. Like, there's no way that he doesn't know. Like, he has to know. And I always kind of felt like he was in denial. But one day, like in the beginning of this year, like sometime in May, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna come out to him because I'm just tired of being uncomfortable around him. And he was just like, this is right before I graduated college, and he was like, what is wrong with you? And you know, you're not a man because a man doesn't do this and a man doesn't do that. And I was just like, Dad, like, are you serious? Like, are you really serious right now? I was like, first of all, I don't know how to ride a bike. Second of all, my dad has, and I hope my dad sees this because I'm really putting you on blast because you need to know. My dad has been living and working at the same job since I was born. And to me, it's just, as a man, my mom has been married and she's had like fiancés after my dad that I've grown up with, but I never could really respect that the men that was in my mom's life, and I could never really respect my dad because I just feel like as a man, no matter your sexual orientation, if you're gay, you're straight, no matter what, you're still a man. So I just kind of feel like you have to want and you have to do better for yourself, especially if you have a family or if you have children. You have to raise those children and grow those children up to be strong. So how can I really listen to you and be offended by you not calling me a man when you had no type of ambition for yourself. Like, you still live in the same cramped, like, studio apartment that you've been living in since 1995, since I was born. You're still working the same job because you have a cap on your salary, which is probably bullshit. And even if you do have a cap on your salary, this is New York City. You're like 6'4", you're 240 pounds of muscle. You can't get another job out here. Like, you can't go be security for the YMCA or something like that. Like, I can't be told that I'm not a man when I'm out here fending for myself, basically. I paid for my own school, I paid for my own clothes, I helped my mom and my sister pay the bills. Like, I'm doing what I have to do because I'm still a man at the end of the day. So, but switching back to the original gears, like, I always kind of felt supported by my friends from past and present, and my mom, that I can do well and really be great. I just feel like the most scrutiny that I've ever experienced was from me to me. I think I'm my biggest critic because I always feel like people are always like praising me and telling me how well I'm doing, but sometimes I can't see it in myself. So, like, I know, like, I've done a lot of good things and stuff, but I guess it's a pro and a con, because it's a con because I need to sometimes, like, take a deep breath, soak into, like, everything that I've done or everything that I've accomplished. And then sometimes I feel like it's a pro because I know I want more for myself. I think it's okay when you're young to do stupid things, experience life, like, make mistakes, like, give that blowjob on the balcony, like, do it while you're 21 years old, because when you're 34 years old, you don't want to just be giving blowjobs on the balcony. But when you're 21 years old, give that blowjob on the balcony. You'll like it, trust me. I think dating in New York City is just horrible. Like, dating in New York City is so difficult. And people are always like, oh my God, it's New York City, there's so many people, there's so many attractive people, and that's the problem. It's New York City, it's so many people, it's so many attractive people, and it's so many people from different places. And I feel like there's a lot of, like, variables to it. So I'm gonna speak for me personally, like, as a gay black man, as a young gay black man in fashion, like, and as a millennial, that just makes it even worse because it's the social media age, it's the digital age. So one problem that we have is that we bring our problems onto social media, and then we get too many people involved, and then it just turns into a big old fat, like, this dispute that it doesn't need to be, when you should just go with the person and work it out with the person, especially if you really have those feelings for a person. And then also, I think another problem that we have is, like, bringing our friends into situations. Like, I've learned that everyone, like, love is not black and white. Like, love has a lot of gray areas, whether it's long distance, whether, you know, people just go through different situations, and you can't really judge a person on how they love someone or who they love because you just don't know how they feel about that person. So I feel like sometimes you gotta just keep things between you and a relationship, and that can be very hard because, you know, it's good to have someone to talk to about it, but not everyone's gonna understand you, and sometimes people are gonna judge you, and that's just gonna cloud your judgment when you go back to your relationship. So sometimes it's good to just write things down. Like, me personally, in my last relationships, I would write stories. Like, I tried to start writing a book about one of my relationships just to have an outlet of how I felt and just to, like, express myself in some kind of creative aspect. And another thing is that everybody in New York City knows each other. Everyone knows each other. It doesn't matter if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're black, like, everyone knows each other. Like, you may be dating a guy who had sex with this person, who may have sex with that person, you may have sex with that person, they probably have sex together, and then this person, that person, like, everyone knows each other. So it's very hard to trust. Honestly, it doesn't matter how cute you are, how much money you have, how good you dress, how tall you are, how pretty you are, how beautiful you are, how handsome you are, how big your thing is, how good your cuckoo is. It don't matter. In my future, I see myself, honestly, I just see myself as a brand, coming out with a clothing line, coming out with concept clothing, like, creative directing shows, helping being a creative director for up-and-coming brands or brands that are already established. Like, I also want to, like, you know, be a media and fashion correspondent. So I would love to, like, do segments with E! News or Entertainment Tonight. I just see myself, like, really having a branding, having an empire, and, like, really building on the fact that I am a millennial and I'm living in an age where everything is accessible. You can't really make excuses anymore. Like, everything is out, especially living in New York City, like, it's out here. Like, everything is at our hands. We just have to have the energy and have the momentum and have the ambition to go get it, and also understand that there's so many people trying to do what we're doing. Like there's so many people that wants to be a model or wants to do videos or wants to be a singer or wants to do whatever it may be. So we have to understand that and not get so caught up on what everyone else is doing and how they're attaching to it, but try to just focus and hone into what we're doing and how we're going about it and just focus on ourselves. Don't be jealous. Understand that competition is natural and understand there's gonna be other people in the market, but you have to find your niche and find what's gonna set you apart from everyone else. So for me, I'm just focusing on myself, trying to build on my brand, The Commendable, that I host with my best friend, Shaquille, and trying to dibble and dabble in different aspects and just connect. Like, it's very, very important to connect with people. Like, connect with people who are also creative, connect with people who wanna talk to you, connect with people who are building their own brand, like connect, because in New York City, you're just as good as your network. Also, when you connect with people, let it be genuine and actually build on those relationships. Don't just contact someone because you wanna do something with them or you wanna collab on something. Let's grab lunch, let's have drinks, come to my birthday party, let me go to your birthday party, like let me go to your baby shower. Because that's when you build those genuine friendships and those genuine connections, and that's when something is happening for someone, they're gonna think of you like that because you actually have a relationship with each other. I also wanna say, like, just for people who's watching this or like people who just wanna like be creative or like have ambitions or just wanna do whatever, like always like stay true to yourself and just know that not everyone is going to like you for you, not everyone's going to accept you. People are gonna have hidden motives and hidden agendas when they do come across you, but just try to stay grounded and stay true to yourself and just know that, you know, you have to focus on what you want to do. You have to put energy into it. You have to be smart about it. And you can't lose focus of what you're trying to accomplish, because there's so many distractions in this world, in this city, and whatever it may be, that if you stay focused and you stay persistent and you stay consistent and you just wake up every day, pray every night, and just tell yourself, I'm going to make it, it's going to happen for me. Like, it may take time, but it's going to happen. Just keep telling yourself that, because if you speak positive thoughts and if you put positive energy into the universe has no choice but to bring it back into you. So I'm a firm believer in that. Also follow me on Instagram, THE Denzel, DENZELB, B as in boy. Let's connect, and that's it.